could have a friend like you. Just one more time. I didn't know that I could have a friend like one who holds me close in shame. Oh, I didn't know that I could have a friend, one who's a better friend than I could ever be. Oh, I didn't know that I could have a friend like you. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating. It's coming alive now. It's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating. I'm not numb anymore. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating. It feels so good, it feels so good to know you are mine.
What's up, everybody, and happy Saturday morning. Surprise! It is your girl, Regina Elaine, with 12s of the bright side. I know you like, listen, it is Saturday morning. What are you doing here? But we had the Healed Soul Life team, had a sabbatical, and then right after that, I had vacation, and I'm like, I have to get on here to at least show my face and kind of talk about what we're talking about this month. I'm grateful for those Healed Soul Life members who've already jump started the conversation. You know, this month we're talking about sex, sanctification, and abstinence. So it's going to be some great conversation, some great things that we're going to talk about on this month. And like I said, you know that my day is normally Tuesday mornings at 7:30, which I will be back on my rightful schedule Tuesday. So make sure you come back here Tuesday morning. And we're going to kick off Tales from the Bright Side with Regina Elaine there. But listen, real quick, I just have to jump into this topic a little bit because I believe a lot of the things that we deal with and we go through are because we need some type of emotional healing. Some of the things that we experience, our behaviors, our appetites, things that we develop over the years are more than likely because of some type of traumas that happened to us or just different things that we've experienced. So later on in the weeks to come, we're going to get into the scriptures and see what scriptures say about it. But this morning, I just want to talk to you person to person. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the things that people don't like to talk about. It's like a hush, hush, don't say that, honey, you in church, you can't say that. Or, I thought you were saved, you can't talk about it. But listen, a lot of the issues that we face and some of the things that we're experiencing because nobody wants to talk about it, right? It's those things, I guess, that are frowned upon, if you know what I'm saying, that people don't want to talk about, and people need to talk. People need to be healed. It's people that are who are hurting, or people who deal with certain situations, or they don't know why they're wrestling with certain things, and they don't know why they have certain desires, and sometimes people on the outside looking in can jump to conclusions, and some people aren't that nice, or they aren't that understanding of what a person may really be going through. So we're going to talk about that just for a little bit. First of all, shout out to all of y'all who catching the replay. Still make sure that you like, that you comment, that you share. that you tell somebody get connected to the Healed Soul Life page, because they're going to be doing some heavy hitting and talking on this month, all this month. So you have your Sundays, Mondays, Saturdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Tuesdays. I don't care what day. Don't miss it. So let's jump into it. The topic just a little bit this morning. What I want to talk about, just as I guess a foundation for me for where I'll be going into on Tuesday morning, is dealing with the issues, dealing with maybe those desires. Did you know that some people, even as a young child, they have been mishandled inappropriately? They have been maybe touched, they have been fondled. And normally when those things happen, especially at a young age, it awakens some type of desire, right? You know that it's wrong. We've been taught enough to know, how you teach your kids, don't let nobody touch you here, right? And we'll say the only person that can touch this is whom. We instill these things in our kids at a young age. But what happens when someone crosses that line and they touch, they experiment? When kids are in school, you wouldn't believe, listen, it's at a young age that they are exploring. They understand that I got something different than what you got. Let me see how that works. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to us as parents, it's up to us as the church to have these conversations. Now, back in my day, back in the churches, that you just don't let nobody touch you, period. You don't ask me no questions. You don't need to know about that. It is, it's off limit, off topic. And that's something that we're just not going to discuss. But now in this day, is more information out here than it was back in my day, right? Here, these kids can find it everywhere. It's on the cartoons, it's in the video games, it's on commercials. Everywhere you can look, this stuff is out here. So we have to have these tough conversations to just start again at a young age, because the enemy, he don't care how old you are, man. He coming to rob your innocence. Things happen to me at a very young age, and that's how I can talk about it, because I know Walt Denham. And so we have to be ones where our children, our kids, they can come to us and talk about certain things, and we want to jump. Why are you talking to me about that for? That ain't none of your business. You too young. Because if they're coming to you with some curiosity, that means, hey, if you don't give it to them, they're going to listen to that friend, or they're going to want to experience it or try it on their own. And like I said, then when you do these type of things, it raises you up with habits that you can't break. Like I said, going back to the issue of those who may have been touched inappropriately. Okay, as a child, you know that it's wrong, but it awakens something that felt good. Okay. And then now you're trying to explore, what was that feeling that I felt? In my mind, I know that it was wrong, but in my body, I felt things that felt good to me. And then as a child, you start playing or start going deeper into those curiosities. Now you have a habit of masturbation that you carry. Y'all don't want to talk about it. Y'all already know how I do. I'm coming straight forward. The elephant in the room. You deal with masturbation from, we talking about 8 years old, 7 years old, some younger than that, 5 years old, all the way up until your teenage years, all the way up into your adult years, and you wondering why you got an issue. If you've been practicing something for so many years, and just because you say, now I'm saved, I gave my life to Christ, God is able to deliver you instantaneously, but lots of times that's not how that works. So here you are coming to God with a habit or with an addiction that you carried since you were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Again, not saying that it's any fault of your own, but it's something that you were exposed to. It turned out to be something that you enjoyed or feeling, and now you're wrestling in your flesh because you like how it make you feel. You like that it's your escape, but you know that it's wrong. Okay. So now you have to be delivered. And like I said, these are stuff that we don't want to talk about in the church. We just want to tell you, your job is just to live holy. Your job is just to live saved. You can't do that. Okay, well, let's deal with these issues with people. There was a before Christ moment for a lot of people that dealt with really hard issues, and you were stuck in this life or stuck in this situation for so many years. So most times it don't turn off with a switch. Most times your intentions are good and you want to do the right thing, but you have a battle. You have a struggle within your members. You're wondering why you're addicted to porn. You're wondering why you get a rise when you see certain things. And again, in your mind, I shouldn't be, this shouldn't be, but most times you're not, maybe not be. Good morning, Nasal. You're not, I guess, strong enough to contend with, I'm going to have to cut this off. Those are the times that we really we have to be honest with God and let God know. He already know. We talk about this all the time. Lots of things God already knows. Our situation. He already knows our struggle, but we have to be real with us. Sometimes it takes going back into those painful moments, and you have to track back. Where do I even get this habit from? Where do I even get this habit from? And so now you have to deal with the fact that you were touched inappropriately. And sometimes when things happen like that, when you're young, you go either one or two directions. One, you going all the way out there, meaning you like it, and now you craving it. You become very promiscuous. And then on the other hand, you didn't like it, but now you don't want nobody touching you. You don't want nobody looking at you. You feel nasty if somebody touch you. You have a problem with intimacy. And so again, these are things that you have to take to the Father. It's not just enough to say, I'm saved now. That's not going to cut it. You have to be walked through your deliverance. You have to be walked through your healing, and that's becoming vulnerable with God. Sometimes you may have to go, to your leaders and get guidance in how what do I need to do, what I need to put in place to get past what I'm feeling on the inside. And again, like I said, it bothered me when I was younger, because I knew I was promiscuous. I would wear the short skirts, I would wear the open tops, stuff like that. And instead of somebody being able to identify it's an issue here, let's get to the root. It was just the main thing is she just fast. And, that's how we look at people. They should know better. They just fast, this and other. Listen, it's probably something that those people have been dealing with, some type of trauma or something has happened in their past. So as the body, we have to, again, just begin to consider ourselves. Thank God it ain't happened to you. Maybe you can't imagine that, or you can't look through that through a different lens because you've never been exposed to it, or you had the good life, or you had the good family, or you had the two parent, so in your mind, you can't think of a person that nobody that I know really just want to be out there like that. Nobody know. Even you say with the prostitutes on the street, I don't feel that they really want to be out there like that. Some people use things as they feel like there's no hope. Some people use that as they're going to be the one in control. I know for me, a lot of things that I may have done because I wanted to be loved or wanted or accepted, and I didn't want to be hurt. I took the frame of mind of I'm going to be in control. No man going to run me. He ain't playing no game. Everything going to be my rules. I'm going to run how the course of my life. Again, one of those Trina, Foxy Brown, Little Kim type mentalities. Like I'm the baddest chick. I'm calling the shots. But lots of times it's because of something that has happened, some type of trauma. Your way of trying to have control, I guess, of your situation. You feel like that's the best way to have control of your situation. But again, you've been practicing a certain lifestyle so long that deliverance has to take place for you to be free. And it goes back to, again, dealing with the real issues. You already know, you've been taught since you were little, you don't supposed to have sex before you're married. Most people, you have certain understandings, but that doesn't change the life experiences that you went through. And how do you get back to that healthy place, or that place that you need to be in, right? So those are the types of discussions that we're going to be having, just talking about being healed. One, being honest and being real that you have a problem. Some people come out with addictions where they want to stop. People are addicted to pornography. People are addicted to masturbation. People are addicted to these things. And just like God can heal any other addiction, he can heal you. Certain things that happen, people say, I was born into it. I always had a desire for it. And one thing that aggravates me is for somebody on the outside looking in saying, no, that can't be the case. Listen, you don't know my life or my story. You can't be on the outside looking in telling me what I'm walking in and dealing with. We have to have some type, I don't know, like God give us wisdom. We're in the season now where we're really we're going to need wisdom and discernment, and God is really going to have to give us the tongue of the learned to win some of these people, because some of these people really have issues that they've been dealing with all their life, and you're not going to be able to win them if you're coming at them. It's just not, it's not going to happen, because you're coming at them from the wrong standpoint. And I know with me, I wasn't trying to hear nothing you were saying, and the more you talked about me, the more I rebel, and the more I want to give you something to talk about. Because again, most people, they already know the stuff. Most people want to change. That's the point that I don't think people get. Most people do not want to do what they're doing. If they're doing something that you've brought to their attention and you're saying, you're headed down a bad path, you need to quit dealing with this lifestyle. Most times they know that. Most times they want and have a desire to stop. Their dilemma is, how do I move to the next place? I know this is something that I shouldn't be doing. This is something that I've been doing all of my life. I don't even know no other way. How do I substitute what doing this gives me? Or I feel the void it feels. How do I move past that? And that's where we have to have answers. We have to be able to walk people through. That's right, man. Most people already know. They don't need us to tell them you shouldn't be this. They don't need us to tell them, you shouldn't be shacking. You shouldn't be dating a married man. You got a wife at home. You shouldn't be out here in the street. Most people already know that. Our thing is, what is it that's driving? That's it, name. We have to be the solution to their problem. We need to come with some answers. They already know what they're doing is wrong. Again, why are you doing it? Let's talk to that little boy that's in you. Let's talk to that little girl that's in you. It could be the little girl who never had the father and who's looking for love, or had a problem with their mother-daughter relationships, or it could be that they just want somebody to love them, or they begin to equate sex to love. Do you know that people can do that? The fact that, and I remember, and y'all know that I'm very transparent. I remember it was times in my teenage years, maybe between 15 to 18, 19, somewhere up in there, where I didn't necessarily want to have sex, but I wanted the attention. I wanted the companionship. So the sex part, I would cry. But if that got you here, if that got you to be with me, to have time with me, and see, we don't want to talk about this. If that got you close to me, or that means that you'll spend time with me, you'll talk to me, I can get past these last few minutes, these few minutes, just so I can get what I really long for and desire. But see, and that's when you have to be able to tell the person, you don't need sex to do that. You're wonderful how you are. You don't have to give your body to get attention or affection, right? What's the real issue? What's the real reason people out here having sex? Is it that I just want somebody here with me, but I already know this come with the territory. I already know that you're not gonna stay if this don't happen. We have to get to a point where we can tell them it's you have to build up yourself first. Somebody had to teach me. You have to love you. You can't, what you're searching for, you're not going to be able to get that from a dude. You're not going to get that from just dating, just to be dated, or just to have somebody there. And the fact that I used to cry, that will let me know I really don't want to do this. But I knew no other way. It was a time where, because it was so much Man, they made me feel so bad about having, kids and the dad not being in life where I was trying to find my kids a daddy, I ain't even really got to like you like that. And, like I said, I'll go talk about it because there's somebody else out there. You like, oh my God, you too embarrassed to say it, or you don't, but I'm talking directly to you. You don't even really like the dude. You ain't even really feeling him like that, but it's a potential for you to be looked at in a different light or to have a father figure there so you'll settle. The devil is. Nah, God will give you the grace that you need to raise your kids by yourself. I don't care what type of disappointment you may have been to your family, to your church, whatever. You don't have to go out there and try to prove nothing to nobody and try to make it right or fix it. And that was a lot of my issue was I was trying to fix the situation. I didn't want to be looked at as the girl who had the kids, at 14 and 18, and, she got two different baby daddies. I didn't want to be looked at like that. I want to have the family look. And my daughter on here now, she'll tell you, I tried so hard to get a family for my kids. I put them in some bad situations trying to get a family and look the part for my kids. I will tell you something else. I have been in some jacked up situations trying to make myself, like I said, the issues that I dealt with, even sexually or dealing with lust because of being exposed or being touched inappropriately or being molested, and trying to say, well, let me go ahead and get married. Maybe this will make sure that I'm looking the right part and I'm not out here doing stuff I'm supposed to be doing. People do all kind of stuff just trying to make sure that they keep some type of boundary. Like maybe this will keep me safe. Maybe this can be my safe haven or my safe box or my safe fix if I do this. Then that'll take away my desires. That'll take away my excuse or my reasonings for wanting to do stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, it don't. I don't care how much you try to hide behind it or you try to put something in place to make you stop having desires or to make you look the right part so people won't have anything to say about you. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. You can't just try to paint this picture to get someone else's approval, but it's not really in you. You hide behind a masquerade because you don't want to deal with the fact that you got an issue, or maybe if they see me with a spouse, then maybe that'll hide the fact that I still got this going on inwardly and I'm having inward battles, and it doesn't work like that. You're not going to be free. I'm gonna tell you, I don't care. You're not going to be free or not delivered until you take it to the Father. Right, Nate? Nate says she tried it too. It doesn't work. Good morning, Em. Thank you for tuning in. And that's the truth. And she could tell you it does not work. It doesn't make anything turn off. And what happens is you got yourself in a worse situation than you were in, because now you out here creeping, you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? They said that's why I got married in 2015, trying to cover up. And I'm going to tell you, it is no cover up. Because what's in you is in you, and you can try to cover it up and you can try to appease people. But until you deal with the situations and the issues that you may have, you're just going to be in a never ending cycle. And like I said, lots of times we're embarrassed. That's why I call it the elephant in the room. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to tell people, I couldn't see that about you. You look so nice. You look so innocent. I can never imagine you doing that. And you don't want to let people's expectations of you down. You don't want to let them down. You don't want to disappoint anybody. Good morning, baby. Thank you for tuning in. But you have to deal with the situation. Again, it's not going to go anywhere until you deal with the situation. You have to be able to communicate and tell, or otherwise, listen, you in the marriage and then your husband can't touch you. He trying to figure out what in the world is going on. You in the marriage, you creeping. Why did you get married? You know what I'm saying? You have to deal with the issues. We have to go get beyond pride and go to the Father and say, I got this issue going on. And again, a lot of it is embarrassment. We don't want to talk about what happened to us. We don't want to talk about how we were broken. We don't want to talk about how we were improperly touched or caressed, or, people felt up on us, or when we were, they used to call it hunching. When I was younger, they hunching on you, all kind of stuff. We don't want to have these conversations. But those are the things that there were seeds that were planted in us. And now we are, as adults, we're at teenagers, we're, millennials, and we're wrestling with stuff and we don't know how to get free, but we don't want to talk about it. We're embarrassed about it, or we don't want to talk about how we were exposed, or that we used to experiment, and then experimenting got you caught up in some other stuff. And you all on a path, man, that just sets you up for destruction. Again, the assignment of the enemy. That's right, babe. Sometimes you have to talk about it. Most times you have to talk about it. Those of you who are married, talk about this stuff to your spouse. They need to know that you were touched inappropriately and you're having issues being intimate because of that. You need to go to your leaders and say, listen, I need some accountability because this is what I've been dealing with, and sex is just the issue for me. But no, we don't want the leaders to know because we don't want them, and most times when you have coverings and leadership, God has already showed them, your areas, your weaknesses, stuff like that. I remember my bitch had told me just straight one time, I see you got an issue with your flesh. This is what you don't need to do because you have an issue here. And you need that. And it may be, like I said, it may be embarrassing. It may make you feel bad, but you need that accountability. You need somebody to help you walk through the stages of deliverance, the stages of healing, so that you can really be all that God has called you to be. He's created you with a purpose. Most prophetic people they deal with issues of lust. They deal with issues in their flesh. It happens to be that way, but God is able, is the point that I'm trying to get you to. I don't care how long you've wrestled with the situation. God is able to heal you. He's able to deliver you. It don't always have to be that way. It don't always have to be like this. Whatever reason why you decided, to do that, or you started in it, you don't have to be that way. Some of you now may be creeping with married men. That could be convenient. That way, it's no expectation. You ain't getting hurt. You're just getting what you need. You feel me? Lots of people are in that situation, and people are, you shouldn't be dealing with a married man, but their way of thinking is, it's no heartstrings. I already know what's up. Let me get me, he take care of me some of my needs, but he got a family at home. I'm good. That way I ain't got to worry about getting hurt by another man. And I know y'all like, come on, people absolutely think that way. You can believe it or not. They absolutely think you could take care of my needs. I ain't got to worry about no relationship. I ain't got to worry about no commitment, but I am straight. You go do you. And a lot of people, that's their mentality because they've been hurt and they went through so much that's like a safeguard for them. That's right, Em. It doesn't work like that. And you wonder how some people can do it because they're thinking that way. I'm trying to be safeguarded. I don't want to be hurt again. My last, relationship, they stepped out on me. They cheated on me. So this is what works for me, And with men, it could be that last woman that I really gave my heart to, she played me. So ain't no chick gonna ever play me. I'm running as many as I can. People are dealing with traumas and hurts and issues, and they're expressing it the best way that they know how to cope. This is what they're doing to express it. And again, living a life like that for so many years, and then one day you sitting in church and you get a message and you feel the pull and the tug of God on your heart, and now you're giving your life and your heart to Christ. It doesn't erase all the stuff that you brought with you. Again, that's why I believe a lot of people who really, really love God. When I first got saved, I love God for real. I mean, with all my heart, I love him for real. I still had an issue. It's just what it is. I love God, but I still had an issue. And I'm going to tell you what, people are looking for a loophole in the escape. If you was a minister, a pastor, apostle, and you out here in these streets, you just gave me my green light on my past. Because I'm like, what's the expectation for me? I'm newly saved. You out here doing things. And see, we don't realize that even as I had to understand that I have a responsibility to walk right for somebody looking at me. Somebody is watching me and they just looking for a reason. Don't give them a reason to slip. People are really struggling and they're looking for a reason to slip. I have had those in high positions. Listen, and let me cut it. Definitely not nobody that rolled with Raymond. Let me put that out there. Nobody that rolled with Raymond. But there have been people who have approached me. Now I have, and I have told them before, I will tell my bishop. I tell them, listen, this one, that one, that one. People. And I'm just so shocked. I'm like, in the church, Lord, in the church. And it's a battle. For people who struggle in that area. That is such a battle because you look at them in such high regard, right? And you're like, man, if they, obviously, it may be okay for me just to do a little something, everybody understand. And they'll be the ones. That's why they'll be the ones who say, God understands you human. He understands your needs. And that's wrong. You know that's not the plan of God. But because if it's what you want and it's what you battled with, you kind of give your ear to it. And then you tell the Lord, forgive me. I really love you. But I got this issue. That doesn't give you a pass. That doesn't give you a pass. So my conversation had to say, God, I love you. Help me to walk this thing out. Help me to be holy for real. If I love you, help me to live this thing for real. It's people depending on me. And not only am I hurting, I'm hurting my kids, I'm hurting my grandkids, because listen, when you're promiscuous or the spirit of perversion hits your family, that hits your life, it doesn't stop at you. That thing goes to your children. It goes to your children, and then you wondering why your little grandkid over there doing stuff they ain't got no business doing. Look where it came from. Look, trace it back to the head. This is why, God, you have to deliver us, deliver my family. I come against the spirit of perversion. And then we look at it and see what we do is we start to harp on the people who in alternate lifestyles, people who are maybe homosexual, lesbian, bi. We start to harp on them, but it's the same spirit that you was out here holding. It's the same spirit. People who deal with bestiality, I wouldn't go down. It's the same spirit. Perversion goes homosexuality. It goes lesbian. It goes to bestiality, wanting to mess with animals and stuff like that. It's the same spirit. So because you dibble and dab in it, you open up that spirit to run through your family. And they said, it's hard out here, but we got to be the light. I always tell myself, it's people out here counting on me to make it. Elder AC, God bless you, bro. He said it's generationals. Look at David. Look at David's family, and that is so true. And that's the thing that helps me too, because I said, God, I can't disappoint you. It's somebody out here who's looking. They need to see somebody living it. They need to see somebody. And me, I needed to see and people who kind of struggle or had my same struggle, so to speak. And that's why I tell you all the time, I look at Joyce Meyer a lot because she was abused. She dealt with things from her father. So she dealt with a lot of issues, a lot of trauma. So I looked at her a lot for, how did you get past this? I read a lot of her material on healing, on deliverance, because that's what it is. We have to be healed, and we can't be that excuse or that slip up from somebody else. These leaders, ministers, whatever, you have a responsibility. It's not just a title, but people are looking at you. Yes, people make their own decisions. They have a right to make their own choices, but sometimes they are influenced by what they see. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that I want my kids and my grandkids to have a clean start, a fresh start, where they don't have to be battling from a young age. And like I said, it started young. I'm talking about 5-6 years old, battle, until a point where God just had to deliver. And I'm like, Lord, and I'm constantly in prayer for my family. I'm constantly in prayer for my daughters. I'm constantly in prayer for my grandkids, because I know the opposition that I faced, and I don't want it to take them 30 years before they're free. 25 years before they're free. I don't want them to have to deal with the situations that I had to deal with. That's right, Elder, and that's why I'm talking about it. A lot of people deal with it, but they don't want to talk about it. Again, this is why we're calling this the elephant in the room. And we have to be real with, and they said it started with her young too. It's sometimes it starts at a young age. A lot of you who watch it or maybe watching the replay and you wonder why you've been dealing with it and it couldn't break it. Started at a young age. Enemy ain't fair. He don't play any fair games. At a young age, he starts to plant those seeds. He trying to cause it to make it grow so that you have these strongholds. But the good thing about it is our Heavenly Father, He can break and destroy any yoke. He can destroy any stronghold. He can destroy it. He can make you over. Whether you were born a certain way or you had certain desires from a young age, the Father can heal. He can take those desires away. Again, I'm talking to you as somebody who had to walk this thing out. For real. Had to walk it out. And it was a struggle. And you're going to have to tell yourself, I'm not going to do this. God, I love you too much to do this. And even when I would have certain desires, I would tell God, this is what I want to do. Please help me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel this way. Help me. Help me get this under control. And I had to talk to him and tell him my issues. And again, one of the issues we don't want to admit, we want to think we got it all together. We want to think that we got control. I can do whatever I want to do. I can handle it. And you can't handle it. The situation is you really can't handle it. You can tell yourself, I can deal with this chick, I can deal with this dude, and it's only going to go as far as I let it. And you put yourself in those situations, and you think people trying to be hard on you when they say don't have anybody over your house. You can't go. I remember my bishop used to tell me, this is not good for you. I don't think that you should date. And I'm like, I'm grown. What you mean you don't feel like I should do that? Or you don't feel like I should do this at a certain time? Or you feel that I should only be in a public place? Or I don't think that you should talk to this one because they got issues in their flesh. And then because you got issues in your flesh, that's not going to be a good match. What you mean? We grown. We can handle our flesh. We saved. Listen to these people who got wisdom and got insight and have overcome. We have to swallow our pride. And if you could do it, I mean, hey, you would have been stopped. If you could handle it on your own, then you wouldn't give in. And like I said, the enemy is, and you heard it before, the enemy is an opportunist. So you may be strong in one season. I give you that credit. You've been good. You've been doing good for years. You ain't had no issues. And then something happened. You had a big blow. And you want to be comforted. I mean, that's how this thing works. He ain't gonna get you while you're high. He's not gonna get you when you first get saved and you love Jesus like for real, and you just excited about the change in your life, and you going with Jesus all the way. Listen, you at your height. There's been a great change in me. Man, I'm Team Jesus sold out. Proud of you. Glad about it. What happens months from now? What happens years from now? What happens because you never dealt with that issue? It's just been suppressed. It was suppressed. There was no need for it to, but then something happens. That's the thing right there, Nate. He tried to catch you slipping. You've been good for years. Then you're going through this thing again where, I'll use as my example, one of the things with me, I tell y'all I struggle all the time with low self-esteem, stuff like that. So you have someone who you highly respect begin to tell you about how there's so much in you and how God is doing this and that and the other. And you like that, right? And you start to give them your ear. And all of the while, you getting set up. You getting set up for destruction. Because one thing about it is your guard is down, right? Because it may be already somebody somebody you admire. All you see, you young in the face. So you thinking that everybody who got a title, everybody who say they saved, you thinking, hey, you can have your guard down. You can be vulnerable with them. And I just have to tell you, that's just not the case. It's really not the case, because they'll begin to tell you, I see greatness in you. God is going to do this. God wants to do that. And they may minister to you prophetically and be on it. Lord, ask me how I know. where they build your trust. Um, they build you looking up to them, and some will just it's a setup for to be preyed upon. Now that you trust and you look up to them, now you're open. Um, it's a sad situation. I've seen so many stories that it just shouldn't be. It shouldn't be in the body. It breaks my heart because people will take something when people are looking for hope. And I'm not going to get emotional because I do that sometimes, but I'm not. But people have been broken, right? And people are looking for hope. And you have these wolves in sheep clothing looking for those people. And it breaks my heart because I'm like, God, what a setback they had because they coming to you broken. They coming to you wanting to be healed, and you got these people who see their weaknesses. That's why you need a good covering for real. This is why you need to submit to your leadership. This is why you need to listen when they tell you, because they don't want to, you're young in the faith. They don't want to expose you to the foolishness in church. Because believe it or not, just like the world has bad things, some of the church is not all the way it should be. That's just be honest. And people need to say that. That's why you need to listen to your leaders when they say, I understand this may sound good, but they don't have your best interest at heart. They're doing that too. That's right. Elder AC, people will play on your brokenness. And that's a sad thing. And this is why you need to be undercover. And this is why when you're under a good ministry and you're under good leadership, whether it may seem hard or you don't understand it, this is why you need to give your ear to them, because they've been out here and they see how things work and they're trying to protect you, right? They're trying to cover you. So they don't want to tell you, this one, hey, don't deal with that at all. And I look back now at the different things my leaders have told me, and they wanted to shield me and protect me if I would have just listened, right? And so that's why I'm trying to share with you from my experiences, whether you think you got it all together or or you're grown, or I just don't see that about them. I didn't get that vibe off of them. We good to say that. That's it, Elder AC. Manipulation feels like help. Oh my God, yes. Manipulation feels like help. And this is why, while we're younger in the faith and we're still growing, and we're in our process of healing and deliverance, let them safeguard you. Listen and give your ear, whether you get that vibe or not, because they may know something about them, but they have a responsibility. And I didn't understand this either. My bishop told us this a long time ago. He said that even though, say for instance, you had somebody with you in the same ministry, right? And you were feeling that person, they have a responsibility to cover that other person too, and you at the same time. So if you go to them and they're saying, I don't think that's a good idea, right? Or maybe you need to think about something else. They can't tell you all the dirt they know. They can't tell you all the issues and battle they feeling, but we have to trust our leaders enough to say, if you're telling me this, you're telling me for a reason. You've never steered me wrong before. And I see that the choices that I made on my own were nothing but destruction. And that's the thing I had to get. I could kick myself because I see the choices that I made. And my leader would tell me, you're in this cycle. Look at this. Look what happened with this one. And every time this happened around this time of the year, this is what happens. And then you have to go through this whole stage again of, getting yourself back together, yourself for brokenness. You thought this one was that. He said it happens every year. Look, study what the enemy does. Look at the time he does it. And I didn't want to hear that. To me, it didn't look like that. But sure enough, it is what it is. And sometimes we may get offended. But listen, let the offense come as long as you be free. As long as you get free, you may not like what they have to tell you, but submit to your leadership, submit to those in authority, give your ear to the wise counsel, those who are telling you stuff and say, you trust them with everything else. So when they tell you something that you don't want to hear, trust the God in them enough to say, maybe I need to pump the brakes a little bit. Maybe this isn't what God has for me. Maybe I need to slow my roll a little bit. maybe I'm lost, maybe I'm confused, maybe I'm still in my feelings or dealing with some emotions or things from the past. But listen, God just wants us to live our best life, without the emotional drama, without the trauma. He wants to heal, and healing feels so good. I'm so grateful in the place that I am right now. I battled for years, post Christ, still battled for years. Love God, love my leaders. I battled for years. My bishop called it when I went on sabbatical. I told him, I said, you don't be like, I said, Jesus, he throws stuff in the sea of forgetfulness. I said, but you supposed to be like Jesus. You don't throw up nothing. I say, I don't know if he bring it up every now and again just to make sure I stay humble and stay in my rightful place and don't go to the sabbatical. Oh my Lord, but he'll remind me of the time I went on sabbatical. Do Jesus. I don't want to go on sabbatical again. So because I don't want to go on sabbatical again, I try to listen, whether I like it or not. And I told him before, I appreciate you jumping on me. I appreciate you saying those hard things to me. Now, my expression at the time may not seem like appreciation because I'm mad and I don't want to hear it, and I don't like what you're saying right now. I don't like what you're saying that you see, but it's needed. And we all need to get to that point where we're more concerned about our impact, our legacy, living this life for real. Like I said, I don't want to be a stumbling block for nobody else. I don't want to break God's heart. He has so much that he wants from me, and he believes in me. He placed certain things in me, and he's expecting me to walk as he walked, to again be holy because he's holy. I don't want to give him no excuses. Well, God, Lord, you made me. I used to tell him, I used to love to tell him that. Well, you made me. You saw what I went through. You saw what happened to me. I mean, then why you let it happen? You knew that if I was going through this situation, that would cause me to end up being like this. You know I was going to get this appetite. So why you allow it then? Why you got me in a place where I'm struggling? I used to tell him that all the time. You should have kept me from it. But I'm like, God, because you know what I went through, I thank you for your mercy. I think, you've been merciful. And I think you've been so merciful because you know the trauma that I went through. You know everything that I went through. So that's why you've been so merciful. But I don't want to stay here. How somebody said, I hate it here. I hate it here. I don't want to be here. I'm tired of this. I want to be free and free for real. I want to live my best life. And when I tell y'all, the way God is doing stuff in my life now, sometimes I want to pinch myself. When I put everything out there on the table, all of my issues, all of my insecurities, and I said, for real, God, it's me and you. And I'm talking about I tune out everybody and everything. And I just really told him it's me and you at this point. I'm getting emotional again. Y'all have to forgive me because I don't know why I get, but I guess because it's my testimony. I don't know, but I get really emotional sometimes. But when I really told him and I laid everything out and I told him I was tired, I'm tired of getting the same result. I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired of doing good one moment and then I have these slip ups or I have these issues and I have to start all over. I'm so tired of starting all over. I'm tired of this life. Just heal me and deliver me. Go to what's wrong. Get to the root. And it's just you and me at this point. And when I tell you, God, oh my God, it's like when I really came to him just like that, he started just doing a work in my life. Everything started lining up. When I tell you everything of every area of my life, and I'm seeing the hand of God so much now I'm like, God, was I holding this up for myself? Like what you doing right now is crazy. Was I the one that was in the way? Like I can kick my own self. God is blowing my mind in this season unlike ever before. And I'm like, God, I never want to lose this place in you again. It's like I'm back to when I first got saved. I had this relationship with God where we would just commune. I could feel his presence. I could be walking. I remember I was walking up to my job. I just feel his presence. And in these days, it's like I'm getting back to that place where I can just think about him and his presence hits me so heavy. And I'm like, ooh, you back. Yes, yes. I was like, you back. Listen, I don't want to lose that ever again. Keep me right here. Whatever I got to do to be pure and to be holy and right so I can keep this going on with you. Listen, knock all this other stuff out the way because I don't want to lose this again. Like I'm back with you now, like for real, for real. It's me and you walking in this thing again. And I never want to lose that again. Nobody is worth, nothing is worth me losing that place where I'm disconnected from you because I ain't clean, because I got some issues. So I'm like, nah, God, heal me for real. And listen, this place is a beautiful place, y'all. It's a wonderful. Oh my God, yes, they give them the real you. It's an amazing, amazing feeling ever. And I'm telling you, if you let God heal you of the trauma, the things about, like we said, sex and all of those issues that you think you're addicted to, that you have to have, he'll replace it with a feeling. Let me tell you, it's better than any climax that you would ever feel. I'm trying to keep it clean. Y'all know I get raw sometimes. I was gonna say something else, but I don't want my bishop. I don't want my bishop to be like, you know what? You just ran all the way out. You just sit down. Now you don't went viral over something that you just said. You got to say that in closed settings. You can't say that on a national broadcast where people can see you publicly. I was gonna say it, but I hear my bishop ear. But it's better than anything that you could have ever experienced. And what I just want for you today is to just to give that to God. Those issues, you have to start somewhere, right? You have to be open about you. You have to be real about you. You can put on the cover for everybody else. They can think you a good little girl. You save, you wear your skirts down to the floor. You don't wear no how they say, no ear box makeup. You save and going with Jesus all the way. You know, you a man of God. But guess what? Jesus knows. God knows. He knows. He knows, honey. Oh my God. You can fool everybody else. He knows. And you need to tell him. You might have just left that chick house last night. Some of y'all maybe on y'all way home from doing stuff you ain't had no business. Listen, give him that. Your leader don't see it. Nobody see it. Somebody think you off on a job thing doing something. He knows. He knows. I'm gonna tell you, he knows. It's a better way. I know you may be doing it as a way to guard your heart, guard your emotions. You don't want to get hurt. I know that's your way to self-soothe. God knows. Don't cover up the trauma. Deal with it. Don't cover up the hurt. Deal with it. Your dad touched you. Your brother touched you. Your mama boyfriend touched you. Deal with it. I know it happened years ago. I know you said you're over. It didn't affect you. It happened. It's affecting you. You just hadn't connected the dots. You don't see that these choices that you're making right now is because of what happened back then, right? You let it go. You put it out your mind. Your behaviors are saying something different, right? You can't cover up the trauma. That's right. You have to deal with it. Even some men who may have been touched by other men, that's dealing with your manhood, dude. I know you don't want to. You want to act like that they never happened, right? You want to pretend that uncle, brother, or whatever, because now that makes you struggle in your manhood. God already knows about it, right? It's manifesting in other areas of your life. You have to deal with it. You have to take all that to God. You not wanting your husband to kiss you, to touch you. I remember and I feel you because it's the nastiest feeling ever. I can't even explain it, but those of you who went through, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like it's your skin crawls, but you love him. You love your husband, but and you know he loves you, and you know it's not about him just wanting you like that. It's a true caress, but because of what you've been through, you just feel nasty. You know, you just feel like, and even if you do it because you know that that's a part of being married and you want to minister to your husband, you may go and then shower after, cry after because you don't like being touched. Give God, sex is a beautiful thing. People try to make like sex is nasty, it's dirty. That's because that's how the enemy perverted it. But God made sex to be something beautiful in its proper context, in its proper place between husband and wife. He made that as a beautiful thing, but the enemy perverted it, right? And that should be something that's a beautiful thing. And you don't have to feel nasty, you know, with your spouse. And I don't know who this is for, but I'm being led this way, so I'm going. Let God heal you in those areas. Let him heal you. Some, you know, that's how some women got into where they wear big clothes. They didn't even want nobody to see their shape. They didn't want nobody to look at them, you know, because they don't want to be lust after. Let God heal you from those areas. Hi, yes, God. Let God minister to you. He wants to minister to those areas that are broken. He wants to minister to those areas where you're hurting, you know. And it's not that you just really like just having sex with random dudes. I mean, you hurting. You are broken. It's something that happened. You know, let God heal you. Let God make you free. You don't like running women. Something hurt you. Let God deal with that trauma, those issues in your life. Talk to him about it. You know, he knows about it anyway, but you need to talk to him about it. Talk to him about what happened when you were younger. You know, people, Emily gave a great testimony. You need to go watch her live about how she made it through rape. Stuff happens to people. And like she put on here today, you have to heal correctly. You have to heal correctly. So listen, we're going to be praying for you. Like I said, I know what it's like, and I think maybe that's why that I got emotional because I know that road. Sometimes it seems like it's a long road to your healing. It's a long road to your deliverance, especially if you dealt with it so long. You know, you feel like this is just it's just what it is. You've had it, you know, you've been dealing with it for so long. But I'm telling you, healing is possible and it's available if you're willing to do the work, because it does take discipline too. Like I said, God is not going to snap his fingers and it's going to be done. It takes discipline, but with the help of God, he'll help you through every situation. He'll help you overcome every temptation. You know, like I said, when I would get certain urges, I would say, I don't want to feel this, Lord. I would stop right and tell God, help me, help this feeling pass. I don't want to feel it. Help me. And then it would subside. And it would be more where they wouldn't come as frequently. And then next thing you know, they're not coming like that at all. And then next thing you know, you're walking around and you're healed in your deliverance. Now, when they said she is living proof that God is able, you're looking at people who are not just telling you something because it sounds good, you know, something that they read in the Bible, but something that they have walked through. I got pregnant at 14. I got pregnant again at 17. I had been having sex since 12, you know, and it all started from somewhere. You know, it starts somewhere, and you imagine. And I look at about my grandson is about to be 12, and I say, my God, was I? What's wrong with you? You know, like what? I look at my grandkids, it's like he's about to be 12 years old. I said I was that young. You know, I look at other girls who are 14, and they look like, you know, they're just little kids, and I say, my God, I was that young. How am I pregnant at that age? When I see a 14-year-old now, I was like, my God, how was I pregnant at that age? You know, how was I 12 doing this? That was back in my day. Now, you know what they're exposed to now. Again, that's why it can't be the elephant in the room. Have these conversations with your kids at a young age. When they're old enough to understand and start touching, exploring themselves, let's go ahead and have them conversations. Shield them for the stuff that they see that wakes up that desire and that urge. Because again, when it starts young, now they're battling and contending with it for years until their adulthood. I hope something that I shared was beneficial. Like I said, this is just my opening from Tuesday, from what we're talking about, and we're gonna dive into scripture, too. But today was just a conversation because I wanted to connect with you all from a real place, a place that I've been in, to talk about why you may even struggle with sex to start with, why you have urges or desires to start with, and then why you need to be healed, why you need to be delivered, why you need to be made free. Well, it's my first one, Elder. This is the one where you get the good teaching. I may need to stay in my just dialogue mode because my brother will destroy a scripture. He don't leave no meat on the bone. He take out the little marrow. You know how when older people they eat their chicken, they start sucking on the bone and they start chewing on the gristle. That's what he do to it. It's crazy what he does with scripture. So I may stay right here and let you handle that, AC. I will let you handle that part, and I was gonna stay right here by lane. It handled that. But I hope you were encouraged this morning. Hope you were blessed this morning. Like I said, stay tuned to the Healed Soul Life. All this month, we are talking about sex, abstinence, sanctification. No meat on the bone, right, sis? He don't leave nothing. Hey, Sister Sarah. It was my pleasure, May. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to those who are catching this or will catch the replay. Thank you for your time and investing time with me in talking about this. And I'm looking forward to many being delivered. Listen, send us your testimonies, inbox us. I think Emily said it too. Those things where you feel like nobody else can possibly know what you're dealing with. I promise you, probably somebody in this Healed Soul Life team. I believe that was one of the reasons that Elder Greer selected us, because she said we're serving and healing. A lot of us had to walk through the healing that we're talking to you about. And I just told you my story. A lot of us had to walk through that. And it's a process, but it is doable. It is obtainable. God is able. So we can just help be your coaches through it, your if you need to get it off your chest, some things you're dealing with, make sure that you contact us, inbox us, and we're here for you. Whatever. You got a lot to say, and we know we can't wait till Monday. Listen, Elder AC has already been putting himself in a place of consecration, so it's going to be fire. When I heard him give that video and say, I want to make sure that I give you what God said, oh boy. This joker going straight to the throne. This going to be fresh, hot off the throne room of heaven. Y'all don't want to miss it. Tune in for Soul Care Sunday. That's going to be Sunday tomorrow. And Elder AC is going to be Monday meditation. I will be back Tuesday morning, 7:30 a.m. with Tales from the Bright Side with Regina Elaine. Well, I love y'all. Have a happy Saturday. We'll talk to you soon. God bless. Now let me see if I can y'all know I always mess up on this part, but I'm gonna try to get it right.
I'm not